We've got Peter Citera on the line from the CDC, all the way from, still in Chicago, yeah?
Still in Chicago, absolutely. Locked down Chicago.
Great to see you, actually see you. How are things going? Lockdown and all that.
Yeah, you know, like everybody else, it's been a huge change. I figured out I have a family. You know, sometimes with all the stuff we do outside of the family life, when things are normal, you know, you kind of forget there's people waiting for you back there. So, no, it's been fun. It really has been. I've got a 10-year-old at home, and we've got a chance to spend a lot of time together. You know, it's been able to hang out with him and my wife, and it's been good. You know, and thankfully we've been able to work from home as well. So I'm probably busier now than I was before the lockdown happened.
I think a lot of us are saying that. But again, the purpose of these chats with people around the darts world is that we understand and get to see that you are human, you've got a family, and you don't just sit in an aeroplane for most of your life, which I know you probably
They
do.
might dispute the whole human thing, but yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
So how did Peter Citera become part of the CDC? How's it, you know, what were you, a dart player? I mean, where's it all come from?
Well, so I've been in the game for over 20 years. I started as a player, like I think many of us did. Through my first competitive dart in say 1997. Got, like everybody else, fell in love with the game. Wanted to figure out if there are better ways to do it. Better things I could do to contribute. I tried to play competitively for a while. I just don't have the talent level to play with the best. So, but I wanted to be able to create opportunities for people that did. And so the last 20 years has been trying to bring new things and support the players in any way possible. How did I get to be with the CDC? Well, I got lucky enough to be a part of the New World Dart Series, which is was a kind of a round robin into knockout series that we did, top level players, basically across the continent some years back. And I met, was able to work with Anthony Eugenia, David Irete, my two of my partners, the last partner being Jeff Good. And it's amazing. It was like fate basically put us all together, and we were able to create this. We all have the same passion for the game. And so I could not be luckier, to work with probably the two most amazing people on this continent.
Wow, excellent. So you say you were a player. So we're going to have to get you on the JDC Virtual, the new product from the JDC then.
Yeah, I've kind of resisted. True story. As much as I love the game, I'll pull the internet out after I put up my 157 or whatever it happens to be. They don't have a shirt color for my talent level.
No,
I actually didn't even have a dartboard up at home, believe it or not. I used to. And then we've done some work on the house and haven't really found a place to put it back up. Where I would put it is kind of crammed in with all of CDC's dartboards and such, and all the equipment we have. Hoping to move that out somewhere in the next few weeks and maybe get a dartboard set up at some point.
Brilliant. So how the CDC then? How long has that been around? How many years, or sort of in formulation? How long has that been around?
Well, we really started putting the idea together in 2014. That's when we incorporated the company. It took us a while to kind of get the runway built and put the plane together. And we kicked off in 2015. That was our first season. We did real well. I mean, surprisingly, to I think a lot of people out there who expected us to fail. We got through that first year, decided to give it another couple of years and grow every along the way. And, we added streaming and now here we are in 2020. And this was supposed to be, our great sixth year and the beginning of our second half of the decade. And we had some big plans and, the world had other ideas, but I'm really happy that we were able to pivot, right? Like you guys did. It's forced innovation. I think right before we started this, I was talking to you about that. We're in a position that is forced innovation, and we've been able to do some pretty cool things, I think, and there's some other things in the works.
I suppose the biggest one, as you say, for us, the not getting together supposed to be in about a week or two's time, with the PDC coming into town in New York, and we were coming over to do some work with you guys, because there is a huge amount of people playing dart. I didn't realise how big the sport is in America. How many dartboards are sold? How many competitions? How many organized? The whole vastness of America. It's incredible.
It is, in America, we kind of have this hydra, right? We've got the multi heads, we've got the soft tip head and the steel tip head, right?
Yeah.
And so, we for many years there was kind of an antagonistic relationship, I think, at some level from a lot of people, and it kind of prevented the sport from growing the way I think all of us wanted it to grow. Steel tip used to be huge over here. If you look at the initial players in the WDC World Championships, and became the PDC. How many American players played that? Larry Butler won the World Match Play, right?
That's right.
So it's always had a presence, but we've struggled to kind of unify that. At the top level, I'd like to think that we've had some success in doing that. And, we certainly, no matter what you play, if it's soft or steel predominantly, there's a place for you in this game. And I think that's something that that's a message that needs to get out among everybody. We all need to be unified to grow the sport together, which means, we have to work together where we can and respect the fact that there are two different types of darts, but it's all darts at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree with you more. And we've seen the success that the CDC brings to our youth, the juniors, in the World Cups that we've seen your teams from North America. And also today, the Nations Challenge on the JDC Virtual. It's America's Day. Canada have done this a couple of days ago. But we've got currently, as we speak, so midday nearly in your time, I suppose, and we're into
11:30 in the morning Central Time, so 12:30 Eastern. There's about 6 hours left of this thing, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we got Leonard Gates tops the shop at the minute for the USA, but not only that, that is a post of a score of 1,806, which is the top national score. So for the nations, so all these people playing in the Nations Challenge, that's the top score. There's some shooter, this guy.
He went to Q school this year, and I think he managed, if memory serves, I think he managed the fourth highest average of all the players at Q school. He didn't get his card, but, the guy can play. Leonard has some of the most amazing raw talent of any player that's in our system. And, he can beat anybody in any given day. I would throw him up against the world's best, and I'm confident he can hold his own against anyone out there. His scoring power is legendary.
Yeah.
So I'm really kind of happy to see, that we've got people playing the virtual. I'm happy that he threw up those numbers. I hope that, we get a couple more up there. At the end of the day, I think that a lot of times us over here on this side of the pond, we kind of get forgotten about by where darts is a hotbed over in, in Europe and the UK especially. But we're showing consistently that we've got people that can play. And it's really amazing. You mentioned New York. That to me really is, of all the issues that came up because of this pandemic and this lockdown, New York, the loss of New York is probably up there as the number one or number two biggest problem or biggest disappointment, because we had people, we're going to qualify some people. We had Danny Lauby already qualified. We're going to show the world, right, in arguably the world's most popular destination, or one of certainly the most popular destination. We're going to put them up on stage, Madison Square Garden. We're going to show the world what American darts is all about. And not just American and Canadian. North American is what I should say. And unfortunately, it got derailed. I'm hoping that we get it next year. And certainly I want to see Danny Lauby get up there and do his thing, because, again, you talk about a prolific scorer. When he's on, again, he can compete with anybody on the planet. He's just a smooth stroke, and a hell of a kid too. So I want to see him get this opportunity to get up there and knock skulls with some of the big boys.
No doubt in your passion, is there, Mr. Citera? Absolutely. I mean, but again, there has been plenty of representation from North America. We've got 54 nations competing on JDC Virtual, and the USA and Canada are up there with some of the top amount of players that are getting engaged with it. So it can't be ignored, the contribution that you guys are making, the helping with the publicity of what we're doing. So we are grateful for that. And we just want to get.
And we're really excited that you're doing what you're doing, and this is really great. The fact that we talked about pivoting and doing things that at the beginning of the year none of us were planning on doing. Right? We put together the championship league. We got some other things working, in the works. Going to run a couple of those other virtual things coming up. But you guys, virtual league type things. What you guys did, you and Steve and your team is nothing short of amazing to get this built and rolled out in the time frame you did to the reception it got.
Gray hair.
Well, I no hair, so I get it. Believe me, I pulled it all out.
No, it was tough. A good 4 weeks of going at it. I think it's the same for anybody. Any product, anything we do, we have the same passion, obviously, for our juniors, but also now the adults. We're just darts generally. And Steve has just some amazing ideas, and we can't do it without partners. We can't do it without our sponsors. We can't do it without people like you helping to promote. I mean, the Go Darts Pro Anders has been fantastic. Our support from Winmar, and even to those that just retweet or pop a like on Facebook, anything to assist us promoting the game for amateurs and the grassroots. Happy days, you guys have got another level. So.
Can I build on something you just said? Because, I think that when people are at home watching these things we're doing, right, the online leagues or what have you, I think a lot gets lost. They don't realize, the amount that goes into trying to make sure your sponsors are visible. When we're an events company, and when you can't have any – yeah, I wish I was able to put mine up. But yes, we're an events company. When you can't have events – and you've got people, in our case, it's Magic Darts, it's Cosmo Darts. Certainly the PDC wants visibility as well. And all the people that have trusted us, we have to be able to deliver value for them. So we've really got separate audiences to deliver value for. We got to deliver value for our players, and we're trying to do that. Obviously, we're not doing it the way we traditionally do, and there's players that are not getting opportunities they would normally get. And we want to change that too if this is the new normal, right? Sponsorship is huge, because without them, if we can't drive value to them, they don't see value in us. This whole thing dies, and we can't let that happen.
Yeah, well, sponsorship is incredibly important, and I think from our perspective, we're dealing with youngsters, and it's a different way of marketing. There's a lot of more restrictions, with the youngsters. So we've learned to be very appreciative of anybody that supports the grassroots darts, because it isn't the same as obviously the top end or the amateur game. Peter, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I'm sure we'll probably talk after at some point. I'm hoping to get to chat with Leonard then, if it stays like this at some point. You'll have to give me his details, will I?
Absolutely. I'll let him know you're going to be calling. So we'll definitely do that. Thanks for the opportunity, to chat. Really, again, happy with what you guys have done. What you've done for the kids especially is amazing. You've heard probably, I've spoken in other interviews about us and the future. We're building this for the kids that are in your system now, right? That's our future. We need to get them at an earlier and earlier age. We need to get into the game. We need to get passion for the game, so that the next generation really can be when we compete with the top of the top on a consistent basis.
Well, I hope everybody that has watched this can see your passion and understands how things are different in the US, but how the game of darts seems to just connect us on the same track. It's fantastic to see your efforts and your work. I've obviously witnessed them personally, but for those that are traveling around the world or getting to the US, and when all this is over, get the darts out, and there's people waiting there to play you.
Absolutely. We'd love to see you.
Brilliant. Peter, take care. Stay safe, my friend.
Cheers.